Hello and welcome to Connect, the weekly podcast with the California MBA featuring one-on-one interviews with movers and shakers in the mortgage industry. I'm Susan Milazzo, CEO of the California MBA, and I'm happy that you could join us today. Before I welcome today's guests, I'd like to thank our 2024 President's Council sponsors. And these are a group of companies that provide a tremendous amount of financial support for our organization, in large part so that we can continue to be that strong voice for the real estate finance industry before the California State Legislature and our regulators. So please join me in thanking this year's President's Council sponsors. And those companies are AmeriHome, Arch MI, CMG Financial, Consolidated Analytics, Funding Shield, Guild Mortgage, and Western Alliance Bank. Thank you all so much for your support. We really appreciate it. With that, brings me to today's guest. I'm very happy to welcome Valerie Ausband, who is SVP of National Field Sales and Strategic Accounts at Arch MI. Valerie, welcome.
I'm so pleased to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I always like to start out finding about how people's, a little bit about their journey into the mortgage business. So why don't you tell us how you got into this industry?
Sure. My family is in real estate development, and growing up, I had exposure to real estate market and even housing finance, and I found it interesting and fast-paced, and that was certainly exciting. So graduating from the University of Georgia with a history degree, I did like every reasonable history major and got in mortgage business. I had expected to work a few years and go to law school, but the LSAT in law school never materialized. So 2 days after graduating, I went to work in Atlanta for PNC Mortgage as a processor. So that's where it all started. And, 25 years later, I have been in retail mortgage lending. I had a short stint in the title business. And then I've spent the majority of that time in mortgage insurance with Arch. And prior to that, United Guarantee, which Arch acquired in 2017. So
wow,
that's how I entered, not intentionally, but does anybody? I'm not sure.
No, I know it's always an interesting story, but yours is a fun twist. I was a history major, so of course I got into the mortgage business. Why wouldn't I?
Right.
But I always think that it's interesting to hear how people got into the mortgage business. But as I was kind of looking up some, material for us to discuss today, I was very impressed. I saw in your profile, you've had some great recognitions. You're Women of Influence by HousingWire in both 2017 and 18. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
How did you feel when you got that recognition? That would be such an honor.
It was. I would say that's probably the word I would use that comes to mind first is I was honored. And certainly grateful. I realized many years ago that no one succeeds independently or on their own. And through that recognition, it really brought me back to an anecdote that a boss of mine had many, many years ago. He said, in his Southern voice, even more Southern than mine, he said, "Now, Valerie, you know how that turtle got on top of the fence post?" And I had to think about it for a minute. And I said, "Well, no, not really." And he said, "Well, it didn't get there by itself." And so that has really stuck with me. And so when I was honored for that recognition, that's really what I thought of. And hopefully I recognize those people that had helped me over the years succeed and really invested in my career, the positives and the failures of that. And it certainly was a tremendous recognition for hard work and dedication to the industry, but really those around me that helped me get there. That's what I thought of when I was recognized as I hope I acknowledged all those that have been a part of my journey through the mortgage business. And certainly as I had started my career in leadership, and that was right after Arch had acquired United Guarantee. And so that was even really more special because I took on a different role at Arch as the national field senior vice president and strategic accounts. So it was an even bigger opportunity and role for me. So very exciting.
That's fantastic. Well, congratulations again.
Thank you.
That's wonderful recognition. Obviously the last 12 to 15 months have been really tough for the mortgage industry,
Yeah.
far cry from where we were the previous few years before that. How does ArchMI help lenders in a market like this?
Yeah, no, it's a great question, and we talk to lenders every day, and the pressure is real, and you know that through your membership. The pressure's incredible. I think Fannie was estimating 1.4 trillion in sort of the total origination market, so down significantly from years prior. And so the conversations that we're having, obviously, there's pressure on housing supply, that low inventory, high home price appreciation, and high interest rates. And sort of all of that accumulates into an issue for lenders in terms of opportunity for origination volume, and then borrowers in terms of having the opportunity to purchase a home. And so we're focused on a couple of things. One is obviously access to home ownership, and that's our core business, right? So the higher the down payment needs are today because prices are so high, that's really where MI comes into play. You don't have to have that significant down payment in order to purchase a home. So, if lenders structure loans with mortgage insurance, it affords borrowers the opportunity to not have that 20% down payment. That's our core business. But what we also have been doing as a leader in credit risk management by aggregating and syndicating risk out, it gives us an opportunity to focus on other businesses that are similar, so to speak, in terms of credit risk management. So we're doing a couple things. We have a company called Arch Mortgage Funding that is buying non-QM loans, so bank statement, DSCR, asset depletion, non-agency type business. And that combination of credit and risk analysis coupled with their product offerings and counterparty strength is really where we're seeing lenders have interest in Arch Mortgage Funding. We are also insuring second liens. That's a relatively new business for us. So borrowers are sitting on unprecedented equity, right? And to your point, a couple of years ago, interest rates were much lower. So we don't see a lot of churn in the market of borrowers moving on. So they're sitting on that equity, which gives lenders, financial institutions, an opportunity to originate a second lien product. And we are insuring those second liens. So really exciting opportunity for us to do that. I read a statistic that the residential mortgage market has about $50 billion of property value, and 30 trillion of that has borrower equity. So
Wow.
there is this huge market today. And so we're really excited to be a part of that. And then the third thing, Susan, that we're doing is we have a group that's focused on portfolio and structured products. And so we're working with lenders to do a couple things. They might be concerned about their capital or liquidity. They might be concerned about the risks that they have on their portfolio, or even creating new product. And so we're working individually with lenders on any or a combination of those concerns to create new product opportunities for them. And that's been very exciting through our structured and portfolio solutions group. So we've done a lot of medical programs recently and community hero programs. So there's some exciting things that people trying to generate new business. And we've been fortunate to be a part of that conversation.
Great support for lenders in a year like this. Congratulations to Arch for all of those innovative platforms. What are some of the top priorities for Arch for the balance of 2024?
Yeah, so in addition to those three sort of lines of business, for lack of a better description, we're really focused on the customer experience with our lenders. So that could be through technology, it could be through products, it certainly is through our relationships and understanding lenders' strategy, and in making sure that we're partnering through that. We have a deep desire to understand each individual lender and work through that process. versus just a one size fits all. And so that's why we're really happy that we have these other business capabilities so that it's not solely a transactional MI, although that is significant, a significant part of our business. It's not the only thing we can do. So that customer experience and how people do business with us and why continues to be a focus for us this year.
That's fantastic. Yeah, great year to focus on customer service. It's a rough year, but let's make everybody happy that's making the transactions happen, right?
Yeah.
So we talked at the beginning of our conversation about your history in the mortgage industry. What advice would you give to someone who's just starting out in this business?
I would say probably the first thing that I would say is just have a willingness to raise your hand. I find a lot of people are afraid to raise their hand or step into a role that they're not familiar with. And that is where I have found the most opportunity, whether it's for myself or the people that I have worked with, is to venture out and say, I'll try it. I have a strong work ethic. I'm interested. I'm prepared. You can learn different skills or different parts of the business. And I think sometimes people are a little afraid that they don't have all of the pieces of the pie to be successful, and you don't have to. You can learn sort of those missing components, but you have to have that willingness first to step in or raise your hand.
Engage with the people in the industry. I found this industry to be very, everybody's very willing to, share their expertise and the information that they have and kind of pass it on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what's an opportunity and sometimes a missed opportunity for people is that the advocates that you have in your career don't have to be in your direct channel or within your direct work group or reporting line. And so the more that you engage outside of your specific role, I think the more opportunity you have for people to advocate for you and to say, well, what about this? Or I thought of Susan or Valerie for a particular role that may be a stretch, but you have people that understand who you are and your desire to do different things or to lead a group or to take on a different challenge, whatever it may be. And oftentimes it's not people that you work directly with or for.
Right. Yeah, great. Yeah, great opportunity to network at conferences and events and kind of meet other people with ancillary companies and whatnot. So, Arch MI, of course, is a member of the California MBA. And for the past several years, Arch has been a President's Council sponsor, which I mentioned at the top of the podcast, all the podcasts, by the way.
Yes.
And we're just very, very grateful for all of your great support. And I'd love to have you share with our listeners why the company chooses to support us.
Yeah, of course. And thank you for that partnership. Many people may not know that Arch had our original home office was in Northern California. And we still have employees that live and work in Walnut Creek. And the California MBA was one of the first organizations that Arch had a partnership with. And so as a new MI entrant, all those years ago, California MBA was welcoming and helped us grow our organization and grow our understanding of issues and what was happening at a state level. And then obviously that translates to a national level. And so it's important for Arch to continue that strategic relationship. And we've actually used this season as sort of a launching point for our account managers across the country to be involved and have leadership roles within their state and local organizations throughout the country. So I really credit that first relationship with Arch and the California MBA to helping our entire team formulate really long-lasting partnerships across the country. So it's important to us, will remain important to us. So it's great. And I know the Western Secondary is coming up, and we always look forward to that.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for that. I did not know that. And thank you for supporting my partners in the other states. I mean, everybody works really hard. And, if you are active in another state, it's important to support your state MBA. So thank you, Arch, for being a leader in that effort. And Valerie,
absolutely.
thank you for being on Connect. This has been great.
Oh, I've enjoyed it. So thanks for the time, and really looking forward to seeing you and everybody in a short bit. So
Yeah, few more
appreciate
weeks
it.
and we'll be at Western Secondary Market Conference at our new venue in Terranea. So I will look forward to seeing you then.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
thanks to all of you for joining us today. To access any of our past episodes, you can follow us on our YouTube channel. We're also available on SoundCloud, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. That's it for this week, and we'll see you next time on Connect.
Here we go.